Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Thomas White, co-founder of Humanistics. Thomas, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me here.
Great, Thomas. So looking forward to this conversation. Thomas, I remember back, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, you were the CEO of the C-suite, I believe, and that's how we got connected. But first, let me just go back a little bit and take us to the to early days in your career. What made you realize that business could be about people, purpose, and progress than just profit, which a lot of the CEOs and a lot of the founders are missing the link.
Well, good point. And I started that way too. I started out with, can I get my own jet and can I do all these other cool things? But I was an early pioneer in the technology field. It's kind of when I started my first company and then sold it to a public company in Cupertino, California. I came to California. It was a gold rush, right? A different kind of gold rush. And I got my PhD in narcissism. Living one day when I was sitting in my office at a tech company where I was CEO of. I looked around and said, working with the smartest people on the planet. I'm in the who's who of Silicon Valley, and my life is miserable. So being smart, being successful isn't the ticket that's going to give me what I want in my life. So in that moment, I said, I need to make some changes here. So that's what shifted it. And purpose certainly is a key component. So why am I doing this? Am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this for something bigger than myself?
Yeah, it's a very good point. That why is you find while I've been doing this for many years, a lot of people they don't really have a very strong why. They may think they have the why, but they don't really have the strong why. And I think it's something that once you discover that strong why, and I believe when you do that, everything's changed, right?
Well, it wasn't quite like a light switch for me. It was like a journey. So I knew that I needed to find out. So there's a personal growth program that you know about. I've taken it. I just threw myself into this and that was good, but it wasn't the answer. So I kept looking. It took me 20 years to get closer to the answer. And only really in the last 5 years have I really understood what it is. And I began delivering it. And so it's like, because we have so much indoctrination about what it should be, from starting from our families, from our professors to our business colleagues to our own ego-based identity, that it's difficult sometimes to find that thing that really is the true fire that's bringing you to life.
Yeah. In a way, it's kind of like a social programming in a way, right? So we've been just programmed to think certain way and thinking that this is the way to go, but we've been just inheriting all these things from a kid all the way to education and going to the workforce. Thomas, when you co-founded Humanistics, what was the original spark or problem you knew you had to solve that no one else seemed to be tackling that problem?
30 plus years ago, I was running a tech company in California, Northern California, and we were solving a problem, which was when we work together with other people, oftentimes the results aren't satisfactory to each other. And why was that? And we had discovered, I didn't, but the people that I was working with had discovered there's a simple structure of how we make commitments to each other. If we use that structure in a systematic way, the results change dramatically. So I was tasked with a team of people to how do we bring this into technology? How to use technology to take this insight? And we were pretty successful. I was blessed, but they had already done a lot of work before I got there. And we then moved into the world of workflow technology because that's really workflows of moving and managing commitments. But we were hamstrung with two things. One, the technology base at the time was pretty limited. To think back 30 years, what we really do, not a whole lot. And our ability to see what was going on in people's work life was pretty limited too, because all the data was siloed. And the things that we were agreeing to were you make it at the coffee pot, you make it at lunchtime, you make it on the telephone. So that was all informal. So you didn't have the formality. So now come to today, and a colleague of mine, somebody I'd mentored 30 years ago, called me one day and says, "Hey, what you doing? And what do you think AI means to what we did before?" And she had been doing this kind of work, but as a consultant for a long time. I said, "I don't know. Let's go find out." So we began the journey of diving into AI, bringing what we'd done before into AI and said, "Oh, we can make a better way of doing it." And we discovered that, no, we could find a whole new way so people could begin to benefit from not being surprised, from seeing the risk of what they're doing, seeing the implications of what they're doing, all kinds of things we discovered as we began to educate AI and ask it questions and give us insights, and they really blew our minds. So then we said, we're on the right track here. So then humanistics came fully to life, and that's where we are today. We're in the process of preparing our first software product for market in about 2 months.
Wow, that's amazing. And take us here a little bit here, because a lot of times when I talk to a lot of the founders, the conversation would lead us to the product market fit. How important that is to find that product market fit in as early as you can.
Well, now, particularly support, well, so I was at the early stages of this phenomenon, right? So I could sell it, I could sell a lot of things, and people were interested in it. They couldn't get the full use of it, so they ended up being disappointed. I wanted to do that. Well, me too, but we couldn't. So I went on to other things, but I always had that in me, like, if only we could have done these other things. And 3 things happened. I said, AI is here, so we can see lots of data in real time. Our digital footprint, if you will, is fully visible now. Your emails, your Slack conversations, your Zoom notes, they're all where technology can see it. And when COVID happened, we became much more formal and how we agreed to things because we weren't able to do it informally anymore. We didn't go see the person and have the conversation. So all those things, it's like the perfect storm came together. So we now can do this. So the demand has always been there, but the solution hasn't been. So people have tried the best they can. What if you so how many project plans turn out the way that people expect? A small percentage. We keep doing it and hope it'll turn out. Well, we can convert the current project plans, use those project plans, but have them become much more successful by seeing what's really going on underneath the surface. So that's just one market. We will give leaders an opportunity to see what risks lie that they can't see in their organization and what they can do about it now. Then we move them to the space of now that you can see this, let's connect all of the data streams so you can see this in real time, see the implications of what's going on so you can move to take care of issues before they become problems and you never have to deal with crisis again. So there's many things we can do. So the market is there only by the fact that people haven't found a solution. All the money we spend, $600 billion on trying to have this technology work for us, and still each year we still have similar problems over and over and over. What if we can break that cycle?
Are we talking about here about how can we get organization more aligned?
That's it. So organizational alignment. So what are we aligning to? So if we start with what's the core promise the organization is to its customers? And don't we want to align all of our actions to that? Yes, but we don't see how to do it. You or me, none of us know all the commitments we've made. We do them informally. We think we'll remember, we forget, and we got, oh crap. And we do that in the morning, like, oh, I got to remember to do this, or I forgot to do this as I go to bed. What if that was a thing of the past? What if something was tracking all that for you? Today, I said we can see the digital work, and with the work that OpenAI and others are doing to bring technology, a different kind of technology, the physical world will be visible too. So we bring the physical and the digital together, and all of what you're doing is there, not to spy on you, but to help you do the best you can, because we all want to do that. We all want to be as good at what we do as we can be, and this is there to help you do that.
Yeah. But often also what I find is that what I find is that also a lot of people, they don't know who they are themselves. They don't know what is their personality trait, right? And if they don't know about themselves, they will never know about their team member, right? And so you're talking about making commitment visible as the core to accountability. Now, what is the most surprising thing, which I believe there is one, but I would love to hear from your, like, what is the one most surprising thing you'll learn about how humans actually keep or break promises in business?
Well, there's a lot of things I can answer that with, but the thing that I notice is that people are afraid to tell the truth about certain things. So if I agree to do something for you, and I discover something's not going the way I thought, I usually keep it to myself, hoping I'll make it all work out, and I only tell you late, and usually too late for you to do anything about it. So that's a primary issue that happens. The other thing I think is though more important is people say yes too fast. You ask me to do something, I sure, but I have no idea what the implications of that yes is on what I've already committed to. Often I don't even really understand what you ask me. I don't ask more questions of you. Now, wait a minute. What does this mean? What does that mean? So by those two qualities, things go crazy easily, and we don't know why. But if we change that slightly, it would change the outcomes significantly. What is yours?
Yeah, I'm along that line too, but I think it's also there's another part is the communication part, right? So when the communication is not clear, everything starts to get very translated in a very different way, and that's where the things become start the people to get misunderstood about the intention, right?
Right. So what we have is we have a very simple protocol on how do you get clear. First of all, get clear what you want. We usually aren't even clear about what we want. We say, "Hey, would you do this for me?" But what does that mean to you? You haven't spent the time to be clear about that. So the person on the other end is trying to interpret what it is, and often they're not a mind reader, so they do the best they can. Then you get something that isn't what you thought you wanted, and you're disappointed. So we start with getting clear about what you want, giving you a simple guidance for that. Then the person that's being asked gets clear about can they do that or not? Maybe they can't do exactly that way, they could do another way, but we don't have good communication skills to negotiate.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
once we negotiate and we get clear on both sides, we're both clear, then we have a pretty good shot. But things change. So the person that asked for something, they may see something new, they may have something change in their world. Well, they need to let you know if you're doing something for them that something's changing so you can adjust. The same thing for the person doing something because you don't know what's going to happen every day. There are things that alter your ability to deliver what you said yes to. And if you have a simple way to communicate it and realign, you're right, it's about alignment, realign with those people. By the time we get to the end, we're going to be a lot closer together than we normally are.
yeah, yeah. Very good point. Now, Thomas, if I understood correctly, your goal is optimizing over 100,000 organization for social impact by 2029. It's very impressive and massive. What's the boldest or most unconventional step you're taking to get there?
Well, it's a good point. So we had the ambition before we had the answer to that question. So I'd say that. So we were going down the track. We had a separate tool that you needed to use in addition to all you're using. But we decided that that's really not a long-term strategy, and it certainly won't accomplish the 100,000 companies or more. We realized that what if we could add this capability to what you're already using, like Salesforce or Slack or Zoom meeting notes? It's an add-on by working with the SaaS providers, giving them access to our technology so they can add these capabilities, what they're already doing, adding value to their clients is our long-term strategy with demonstration applications today so people can see what the value is already. But ultimately, we're going to work with people that are already in the market, already have customer bases that are satisfied, giving them a new capabilities that will be valuable to their customers. And we can get to 100,000 companies or way more. If you pick somebody who's a market leader and they're already servicing millions of clients, companies, then there's a lot easier ride than doing it all yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Great way to think in a very, very strategic way. Now, Thomas, the conversation around AI often swings between fear and hype. What is one belief about AI's future that you hold, which most people might strongly disagree with?
Well, first of all, the fear of AI is a fear of the unknown rather than the known. We don't know these things are going to happen. We're afraid they're going to happen. If you read history, every new technological breakthrough was accompanied with similar fears. So this isn't a new phenomena for us as humans. AI is, but the phenomena of something that's unexpected, that offers capabilities that scare us. This is the most dramatic one because it completely challenges who we think we are.
Mm,
Because we're challenged about who we think we are, doesn't mean we need to be afraid of it. It means we need to learn about it. Like, how is it to become my friend rather than my enemy? A lot of this has to do with our own mindset. The people that thrive in great upheaval are the people who are not afraid to try something new, not afraid that the current way of life is going to be destroyed because they don't care. Oh, okay, let's go try something else. But if you want to hold on to the way things are, it's like people that were committed to horse buggies when cars came along. Like, well, it was okay for a little while and then it's gone. So if you're an employee of an organization and they're using AI bots for certain things, well, I'm afraid about losing my job. How about being inspired to being a different kind of offer to your company? You can have different skill sets that are going to be valuable to your company rather than being afraid. So fear paralyzes us. Curiosity opens us.
love it. Love it. And the mindset, like you mentioned, this is so true. But mindset is very difficult to have it overnight, right? It takes time. So, what is one thing that you will recommend people in order to shift that mindset? Because this, I would say, when you look at all the technological advancements, right? So this is one that is really an exponential curve, and it's so fast that we're really having a hard time to wrap their head around. So what would something you would recommend that they can really shift their mindset?
So the most uh, like way to get your mindset changed quickest is to say to yourself, "Today, I'm gonna find something I'm curious about that I don't know already." Because all of this, if you look at every founder, they all are every entrepreneurial founders, they're curious beings. When something shows up they don't understand, they get curious, "Oh, why does it work that way? What could I do differently?" And that curiosity has them not be paralyzed, it has them be inspired. So if I have a mindset of looking like everything like fearful, well, just one thing, pick one thing today and says, I'm gonna be curious about that. You might read a book about it, you might listen to a podcast about it, you might just ponder it, and just allow yourself to just have those few moments of living a little bit more expanded life, and then let go and be whatever you are. So you're right, it's an evolution in people, but by doing that, just one thing that you're curious about today that you weren't curious about yesterday, you're gonna be on the road to shifting your mindset.
Yeah, very well said. And that curiosity truly leads you to new experiences, and those new
Correct.
experiences get you in environments that are some for so many people it's uncomfortable, and this is where really truly great things happen to you. To me, when I look back, all great things happened because I stepped out in this world of unknown and got myself uncomfortable. Yes, it was scary. Actually, it was more scary for a lot of people around me than myself. But the fact of the matter that I just stepped out and I got myself uncomfortable. I look back now and say, thank God. I truly listened to my gut, to my spirit, that this was the way to go. And this is very well said, Thomas. Thomas, I always like to ask this last question to my guests. This is a short format conversation and bold talks. What does the word bold mean to you?
Doing something that you've never done before,
Love it.
right? So it brings the qualities you talk about, which is, you know, comfort is overrated. Comfort means sameness. Comfort means basically paralysis in the way it's always been, and that to me is not how I'm gonna live my life. I wanna feel alive. So bold person feels alive. They feel engaged and energized, and that's my ambition is to have more moments of that and less moments of comfort.
Very well said, Thomas. So thankful for you to be here and share these great wisdom that you have been working with your ventures. I truly wish you great success, and looking forward to another great conversation like this. Next one will probably be a longer format. To that time, uh, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you.